Sleep pods is a concept that doesn't really exist too much in the United States, but in different countries like Japan, they're absolutely huge. And so when I traveled there, I figured I'd find some of the coolest sleep pods I could find, ranging from a bus sleep pod to one in the middle of the subway. I also found some capsule hotels in the middle of the airport and so much more, so we obviously have a lot to get to and we have a lot of sleep to be had. So without further ado, grab your popcorn and let's do this. We're currently at 9 Hours Capsule Hotel in Tokyo, and this might be the most popular sleep pod of them all. I'm sure you've watched a video on this at some point. Every single YouTuber you've watched have probably made a video on this. They all use the same thumbnail as well. These are the exact pods that we're gonna go to right now. So we're gonna go inside, see what these look like, because from what I've seen online, they look quite cool. They're very small, condensed. Again, they are sleep pods, but in the Narita airport in Tokyo, this is where you could find them. So let's go inside, let's check it out, let's have some fun, and hopefully get a good sleep. This place is cool though, because behind us is a really busy train station, and then when you just walk in the other direction, it becomes very backroomsy, but super quiet, which is a great place to have at a hotel. And then as you can see here, 9H looks to be right up the escalator, and that's exactly what the pods look like. I mean, they look really cool from the preview. Let's go up. Okay, so I believe this is the entrance. Konnichiwa. So I just changed into the pajamas that they give me. It says 9 hours. I feel like I look like a prisoner in this. But this is what you're supposed to put on. They also gave some slippers as well. So I'm gonna put these on and then we're gonna head into the pod, but I'm very excited. Also, we got these bags. I thought 9 hours meant how long you could stay, but you pay by the hours. We're only staying for 1 hour actually, but 1 shower, 7 hours of sleep, and then 1 rest equals 9. I don't know what that math means, but I guess that's why it's called 9 hours. All right, let's get ready for bed. So these are what the pods look like at the airport. Again, I don't want to be too loud because there's probably people sleeping, but look at these. They're like these little spacecrafts you can crawl inside of and just get like an entire night's sleep. The illumination of them is actually really cool. I mean, if you look down this entire row, I think they probably have like 50 to 70 if I had to guess in here. So let's go over and head to ours. I'm going to try to fit in, see what I could film, see if I could like talk, but hopefully there's not too many people in here. All right, so 164, this is my pod right here. Whoa, this is actually sick. This is a great place to get a rest. This might be the best pod that probably exists because it's pretty cheap. It's like $10 an hour, which in American prices, I mean, certainly would be like a cheap offering. In Japan, maybe that is considered a bit more premium, but this is really cool. So again, it kind of like feels like you're in like this futuristic pod, almost like an MRI machine, but it doesn't feel stuffy. It doesn't really feel like too claustrophobic. And then above me, I mean, what do we got here? So it looks like you have one outlet here where you could plug in your phone or whatever. You have the room light that you could turn either super bright or completely off. You have like a music thing. It's BGM, which might mean background music. So I think if you turn this up, you might be able to like put on some white noise perhaps. I don't know if that did anything. And then there's one more knob next to it that says caution, so I don't want to push that. You also have these really tiny shelves here as well. I don't know if you could fit anything on it. Let's see if my phone fits. Okay, just barely, it does. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, the only other funky thing is that there's speakers on the top and I don't know what comes out. And then they have this in case there's a fire, I guess. But it's actually pretty spacious and it's pretty fun too. And then if you want to shut it, because you want to start getting some shut-eye, you just pull this down and you say goodnight. So just finished up at the 9 Hours Capsule Hotel. That was one of the coolest sleep pods I've ever seen. I mean, there was like sci-fi rows of maybe like 50 to 60 sleep pods, illuminated really nicely. Did feel like you were in some sort of like aircraft while you were inside of there. Not a lot, pretty bare bones, but I like the simplicity of it. Overall, it was like $10 for an hour, and I think maybe as you scale up, it gets a little bit cheaper. But nonetheless, I mean, $10 for an hour nap, I would honestly take it. You also get a shower, you also get some other amenities that were featured. So overall, really cool sleep pod, and I'm excited to see what the next ones look like. So let's continue. We're currently at one of the most popular sleep pods in all of Tokyo. It's called Anshin Oyado, and it's a capsule hotel with I think 256 capsules, complete with a sauna, a lounge, a capsule room, and even a public bath. I booked it. Let's go inside and see if the sleep pod is comfortable. It's basically just in the middle of the city when you get outside the train station. Let's see how it is. All right, so we have to take our shoes off to the shoe locker. So I think that means right here. Okay, shoes officially off. Okay, then here are the slippers you have to get. So these are medium, then here we have large, and then extra L. I think it sterilizes them with UV because they're kind of warm. All right. Very nice. And then they have shoe lockers, then you could put your sneakers in them. So I'm gonna take $7.50, tuck those in, and then I guess you grab your key and off to your capsule hotel. So we just checked in and got the pajamas. So now I'm going to change into this and we are going to head into our capsule room. 3, 2, 1.
all changed. We're currently in the elevator now, making our way to our sleep pod, which is on the top floor, which is pretty premium. It says that there's a guest room and then a toilet. So I think it's ultimately shared, kind of like locker room style. Let's see what our sleep pod / capsule hotel looks like. Okay, so this looks to be the sink area. It's actually a beautiful view. So as you wash your hands after using the bathroom, you just have like all of Tokyo there. Pretty nice foam soap for a 2-star sleep pod capsule hotel. Over there's the emergency ladder. Hopefully we won't have to use that. And then even some free water. I'm just gonna click until something comes. Okay, that's room temperature. Now let's see the room.
All right, so we made it inside. Somebody next to us on both sides is sleeping, so we can't be super loud because I don't want to disturb them. But this is what the capsule hotel looks like. So this pod is amongst a row of probably like 50 other pods. It's actually quite active despite it being like 2 p.m. So people are sleeping because I guess they're all travelers, but let me show you what we got in here. So the first thing that I noticed that you never get in a sleep pod is a TV right here. And in addition to that, they actually provide you with headphones as well and an entire desk with a mirror here. In addition to that, you even have a fan that you could plug right in. And if you're saying, oh no, I don't have like a port to put this into, they provide that as well. And what's different from this one is there's actually 2 electrical outlets, so you can put in 2 different things in the sockets. Now, a couple of things to note, because there's some rules here. It says that alarm clocks have to be turned off. Absolutely no talking, which is why I'm trying to be super low. And then of course, no smoking. There's also a little hanger right here. So if you want, you could just hang your clothes. And then of course, they give you a pillow and then a blanket. And we hear some people coughing, so it's not necessarily the most sanitary spot, but there is an air purifier, actually a high performance air purifier that seems to be in every pod. I'd say out of all the pods so far, this seems to have the most total amenities between the spa, the entire pod itself, and then providing full-on beautiful pajamas as well. Let me see what kind of TV stations they have going. Okay, so the TV doesn't work. I take that back. So you'll probably have to put in headphones and just be on your phone. So that's the pod itself, but let's check out the lounge because apparently they serve you breakfast, lunch, and dinner as well. I'm not too hungry, so I'm not going to eat, but I do want to see what this lounge looks like. Let's go.
So I didn't realize you get free miso soup and also a free soft drink. Everybody gets unlimited drinks in the lounge, which is really nice for a 2-star sleep pod hotel. Let's try this miso soup. Ooh, actually really good. And then wash it down with some of the green tea you get as well. This is one of the nicer hotels I've been to, and it's a sleep pod capsule 2-star hotel. So that's what they serve during breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So for breakfast, you can get curry and rice. For lunch, they got ramen and rice. You can get some alcohol too, and then you can get soup and soft drinks 24/7, which is what we got right now. I see on the back there, they have an entire manga wall as well. So if you're interested in like reading, or if you just want to have some entertainment beyond your phone or your TV in your room, you can just come to here and read a book. Perhaps even on one of those massage chairs, because there's 3 massage chairs as well that also kind of look like pods themselves, but I'm pretty sure they're just massage chairs. Very cool lounge area. I thought these were treadmills at first, but they seem to be ironing boards, so you could iron your clothes here. So if you're feeling a little bit wrinkly, bust it out, bam, bam, bam. So you could basically do everything here. I do want to show you the spa, but I don't think I could because there's people in there that are shirtless and privacy, yada, yada, all that stuff. So you just have to take my word for it. This is a picture of what it looks like. I'm sure it looks awesome, but that's pretty much everything. Even down to the details of the chandelier. This might be the nicest sleep pod yet. Let's get out of this and then we're gonna move on to the next sleep pod.
In passing, actually, as we were going to our next sleep pod, we found this really public sleep pod / workstation right here. It doesn't have to be paid for or anything, and honestly, it's not a sleep pod, it's more of a telephone booth, but I've never seen anything like this just in the middle of basically Times Square. You go in here, and then I guess you could take a call in here, and honestly, it's like pretty soundproof as well. Like, I can't hear anything, and this is a very crowded area. We're in Shibuya Crossing. Let's overlay what it looks like during peak hours. So just in the middle, I mean, there's no time limit. There is a phone, so you could argue this is just a phone booth, but there's so much space, and the fact that they have Wi-Fi as well, I mean, there's definitely something in here to be done for like 20 minutes or so, which I'm not gonna do because like I said, we're actually heading to our next sleep pod, and there's even one next door. And again, if you want the Wi-Fi, there it is. I've never seen Wi-Fi before in a telephone booth. That's why I think this is more likely to be a workstation, which is technically a sleep pod. I wouldn't be surprised if people like took naps in here standing up or something. There's definitely ample space. All right, just wanted to show that because I thought it was kind of crazy to just have like an open space with Wi-Fi that anybody could connect to in the middle of the busiest cross section in Tokyo. We're now in New York at this next pod hotel, and this is different from the rest because this is a first class pod hotel. They have 3 levels of pod hotels here: economy, medium, and then first class. I went ahead and booked the first class sleep pod, so let's go inside and see what this looks like. Also quite unique that it's in New York, whereas the other ones in this video are gonna be Japan and Taiwan. But I think the Western world is starting to bring sleep pods. Let's see if they're any good. All right guys, so here we are in Nap York. We just checked in, so we're currently in the elevator that they call the sleep station, and we are heading up to the business pods because like
like I said, we have a first class sleep pod here in New York City. I think this is one of the only pod hotels that exists just in the Western world. So I'm excited to see what this looks like. They had a robot concierge too at the front desk, so it's definitely like mimicking the Tokyo vibe. Very cool nonetheless. Let's see what it looks like. So they have a room here called the chill room, and you're basically just able to use this real relaxed massage chair, which is pretty unique to this pod hotel. This isn't something that they really offer much, so I guess that's kind of nice to have a relaxation room, as if the pods themselves aren't going to be relaxing enough. They also have a little kitchen area here too, so it looks like you could store stuff, you can get some water, you can get some hot water, you can do kind of whatever you need to do in here, even some dishes if you'd like. Do they even offer cookware? Oh, they do, look at that. Okay, Nap York, not bad. Let's see the room. All right, so we officially made it inside of our first class pods, and this thing is not even a pod. Like, this is basically a hotel room at this point. There is two separate sections that each have their own pods. You'll see the theme here is completely blacked out because they want to promote sleep, of course. But let me give you a little bit of tour of this pod, because this is unlike any other pods you're going to see in this video, because again, this is huge. So right off the bat, the big thing is you have your own personal space here. So despite the fact that there's a curtain behind me, you still have a little area here that's kind of your own. So you have a little side table here, and then into the pod area here, you'll see you have the entire bed complete with fresh towels and linens. The light function is actually right here. That is going to turn the lights on and off. You have some storage underneath here in case you want to store any of your luggage. And then let's move to the bed, because this is where the magic happens. So on this bed, which is actually the largest bed that I think you're going to see in this video, this might be like a twin XL perhaps. There's a fan right here, so if you end up getting a little bit hot at night, you can turn this on. There's double outlets right here, including USB ports. Here they have an entire like lighting system, and I believe alarm clock as well. This right here is to control the star lighting that's above me. You have single pillows, but noticeably the pod is like somewhat inclined, it feels like. And then I think the coolest part is that you get a VR headset. Let me see what this is even playing. So obviously I'm unable to show you what I'm looking at, but I'm going to put it right here, a little bit of an overlay so you could see what I'm looking at. This is, I guess, in exchange for the TV, you have this instead. So if you come to Nap York, there's no TVs, but you do get VR headsets. They even have the Joy-Con remotes here as well. But that's not it, because out here, you actually have your own bathroom. So you get you get a shower, you have a sink here, you have a toilet. Anything you need inside of a classic shower is yours, which is not even like a pod hotel at this point. This is just, again, like a hotel room. And since I booked 2 rooms, the same thing is mirrored on this side, but you also get a locker for storage here. So a ton of space to do things, to put things. So if you do the math on this, it's like 30 bucks an hour, which is like $600-700 for an entire day or night. So it is actually pretty close to a hotel room, but this is a 1-star hotel technically because it's a pod hotel. All right, so as I cozy up into this first class sleep pod, I mean, I showed you guys everything, so I'm gonna take a little bit of a nap. Might as well put on the most comfortable socks that I've ever owned in my entire life, Bombas. They also have like Bombas slippers, which Michael's actually wearing right now. How do those feel?
Great, love them.
And what I like about Bombas as well is that for every purchase, they also make a donation to homeless shelters, outreach programs, and other nonprofit organizations. And they've actually donated over 150 million essential clothing items since their inception, so it feels really good to purchase from them. Not gonna lie, this blanket is not that comfortable, unlike my Bombas socks. But especially with sock season upon us now, it's gifting season. If you wanna get on anybody's good side, or just your own good side, purchase them for yourself, I would definitely get some Bombas. That's what I would do. And Bombas officially now has their holiday drop-in order called the Cozy Shop. And this includes comfy essentials like these cashmere merino blend vintage rib socks, which actually feel like a sweater on your feet, and new fuzzy socks that make you literally never want to leave your bed. Bombas also has a 100% happiness guarantee, so if for some reason you don't like the socks, which trust me you will, there is 100% free returns and exchanges. So purchasing them really is risk-free. So feel good and do good with Bombas, knowing your purchase is doing some real good. And new customers get 20% off their first purchase. Just go ahead and click the link in the description or scan the QR code right here and use code Sambucha at checkout. So thank you again to our friends Bombas for sponsoring this video. Now let's move on to the next sleep pod while I get some sleep. All right, this next sleep pod we're gonna go on is actually on a bus. So this is a first class bus service, and there's an entire pod that you could rent out for yourself because it's an overnight trip from Tokyo to Kyoto. So you go on, you get an entire weird looking pod in which you could sleep. I think recline almost 180 degrees, and there's other amenities on board that you can access. So I'm excited to go on. All in, I think this was about $150, which is much cheaper than the actual bullet train to get to Kyoto. So we're gonna go on, we're gonna see if it's any good, and hopefully we can get a good night's rest. Let's go on this thing. I'm really excited to see what it looks like. It's probably gonna be like really close
close quarters, so might have to do a lot of voiceovers because I'm sure there's gonna be people sleeping. All right, let's go on. So when we got on board, there was about 20 different pods. We were sitting in row 7. Our seats were next to each other, and these pods looked really futuristic. They actually looked really cool, but unfortunately there wasn't too much space. I thought there would be more. So one thing about this bus is there was no bathroom on board and no water or snacks provided either. It was just your seat. They were stopping at certain stations, so if you were not sleeping, I guess you were able to technically hop on, get some water, use the bathroom, but it's very unpredictable, and also because it was overnight, people pretty much just slept through that. In terms of the actual seat though, when you sit down, there's a QR code in front of you that you could scan and see what all your in-cabin options are. Notably, there was no electrical outlets, but they did have other things like a vent up top and a reading light too. I think there was Wi-Fi available as well, though I didn't use that. The pod itself was interesting because it didn't recline a full 180, but it did go about 135 degrees, which was enough to get a decent sleep. This was built like a recliner, so there was a leg support incliner towards the bottom, and you could also put your feet in the cubby there. And then the top part reclined, so you were able to get pretty comfortable as noted. So one of the biggest features of the pod was the hood that you were able to pull down, and it basically got rid of all the light, kind of like you had a face mask on, and I really enjoyed this part because it did help a lot with the overnight sleep. And one of the coolest features was this phone clamp where you could put your phone either vertically or horizontally and either watch a movie, text, or just keep it there because there was no other pockets. You're able to manage the curtains off to the side near the window to control the lighting. I obviously kept this shut because it was overnight, but I did see some people detaching it. But outside of that, that was pretty much everything, so I just knocked out for 8 hours, and this is what that looked like.
All right, just woke up after like 8 hours on this bus or so. This pod was actually pretty enjoyable. I mean, it wasn't like a full 180 horizontal lay, but it was like 135 degrees, and I feel pretty well rested, honestly. This shade helped a lot because it goes pretty far down. This is what a bus sleep pod ultimately looks like. If you are going from one city to another, I mean, it's as good as it gets.
All right, guys, we're officially in Kyoto after our 8-hour sleep pod on the bus first class experience. It was definitely an interesting way to travel. Personally, I prefer the Shinkansen, the train that can get you there, because a bus is just never the ideal way to travel. No bathroom, no water. If you're somebody who has to get up in the middle of the night, or if you get parched like I do, like 3 a.m. or so, you would have a pretty miserable time. Luckily, I was able to power it through, but I don't think I'd be doing that again. It was very cool though. Not something you could probably get in the United States. Not my favorite sleep pod so far, so let's move on to the next one. We're currently at the Taiwan airport, and we're about to go to one of their most popular capsule hotels. It's called the CHO Capsule Hotel, and this one had a lot of great reviews. We literally traveled to Taiwan for this, so it better be the greatest capsule hotel in this entire video. Let's go ahead and see what these sleep pods look like. If you have to catch an early flight or something, apparently a lot of people end up sleeping here. Let's see what we got. Okay, so we are arriving here. CHO Stay is the name of it. Take a break, have a good day. So downstairs is really, really loud just because it's Taiwan. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of flights going out, but then when you get here, really serene. Like my entire mood just changed. So I think I am going to have a good rest in here, but let's check it out and get inside our sleep pod. So over here, they provide 3M earplugs, and then you can also get different eye masks too. I think these are complimentary as well. So right when you enter, there's a bookshelf right here. I don't know what kind of books they have, but I guess it's a good way to kind of put yourself to sleep. Trash, recycling, I guess like more cubbies for your sandals, and then additional earplugs as well. All right, so everybody who stays here gets their own locker, and you get your own little sandals slash flip-flops as well, because of course you have to take your shoes off to be respectful of the place. We have some towels here as well in case you want to take a shower. So we're gonna get ready, we're gonna go inside, we're gonna see what this capsule hotel looks like. Very peaceful, very serene. I like all the different things that they provide for you. I didn't even know you could take a shower, so this is a plus too. Let's see it. Okay, so this seems to be our room right here. It's the males only capsule. Let's see how many people are in here. Okay, so there's about 10 total capsules in here, and it looks pretty spacious on the inside, so I'm gonna show you what it looks like in there, and this is where people will stay basically in between flights, or maybe you just stay here if you wanted to grab a hotel. And they have a shower room and everything, and then they even have like bunks, so you're able to go up and down these stairs to go in and out of the rooms. Okay, so we're right by the door, so I'm gonna take the top bunk, and let's check this out. It's like one giant sleepover.
Okay, so this is what this sleep pod looks like. This is really big actually, and there's a lot of different things here. So you have your own mirror, you have outlets right here, you have a little desk here if you want to just set things on it, and then you even have some storage beneath here. So if you have to ultimately like use this space to put like some of your bags or something, you could do that. And then a cool add is that they also have hangers. So if you need to hang any of your clothes, you could also put it right there. And this bed is like probably a little bit bigger than a twin. It might be a twin XL. It's very clean in here. I like the vibes with like the brown and the white. It just makes the feng shui shui is very strong in here. When you want to ultimately go to sleep, there is this little curtain that you could pull down. Now the rules here is that 1, check out before 10 a.m. 2, no food or drink inside the capsules. 3 is to keep quiet after 10 p.m. So you're not allowed to use your phone or anything like that if it's past 10 p.m. because I think they want to ensure that people could sleep, obviously. You're able to get towels at the front desk, and then for your safety, walk down the stairs backwards, which makes sense. You could also change the light settings, turn it completely off, or make it super bright. And then this might be like a locker or something. So if you have to store any of your personal belongings, maybe like a wallet or something, or your passport as you're sleeping, and you want to just ensure it's extra safe, you would put it in this cubby right here. It's very thoughtful and well designed. It's maximizing the space it has. Like, it feels pretty livable despite the fact that it's probably 3 feet by maybe 6 feet. And I'm surprised how clean it is too for being like an airport hotel. But I think it's just the standard in Taiwan is a little bit higher than what you'd expect from like a motel in New Jersey. And then when it's time to go to sleep, you just put this down right here, and then you have the ultimate privacy. So now I'm just in this little cubby just by myself. I don't know if it's soundproof or not. Again, I don't want to be too loud because somebody else is sleeping, but this sleep pod in an airport is actually very nice. Did not expect it to be like this. Pleasantly surprised. Oh gosh. How long has it been? All right, so I just took a really nice nap. I was probably in there for like 5 hours. So each room comes with an oolong tea. They just hand it to you with the room key. So I'm gonna redeem this right now and see if this tea is any good. So it's like an entire tea ceremony experience. So it's not just like Starbucks where they just hand you your drink. It's all being presented right in front. And keep in mind, this is a capsule hotel in the airport at Taiwan. So very nice, great treatment so far. Everything's been great. It's so sophisticated. So right now it's brewing for 3 minutes, and then we have this little like hour glass, but it's a minute glass. So I guess they flip it 3 times. Then once that's done, it's been officially 180 seconds and we could drink our tea. It's good tea, freshly brewed. All right, so we just checked out at CHO Stay, which is the sleep pods in the Taiwan airport. Honestly, really clean in there. The oolong tea was great. They gave you a lot of free things like earplugs. You get like face masks and stuff, a little library. Basically had everything. It also had a shower and a bathroom that obviously we couldn't show, but nonetheless, really cool in there. Glad we went. Let's move on to the next sleep pod. We are currently in the middle of a subway station, and this next sleep pod we're gonna go in doubles as a workstation, but also sleep pod. These are all over Tokyo. There's a bunch of these. This one's vacant right now, so we're about to go in, but I think for like a set amount of time ranging from 15 minutes all the way to a few hours, you can rent this thing out, go inside, get Wi-Fi, sit, and just chill out amongst all the craze of the subway. It's so random just in the middle of the subway station. You would absolutely never see this in the United States, but in Japan, they have some pretty cool pods. Let's go inside. Okay, so the way this works is I think you just pay and then you click something in Japanese here and hopefully it lets you in. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click the top one. Okay, so we click that, and then you can note how long you want to basically stay in the pod for. So if you want to stay until 1:35, you have to pay 330 yen, which is about, I'd say $2 or so. And then you can go on and make it 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and so on. We're just gonna look at this thing for about 30 minutes. I'll take a quick power nap, and then I have to go because I have to hop on the subway line. Then you just pay right here, and I think we're good. I think it's about to let me inside. Oh, all right, just unlocked. Middle of the subway, about to take a nap. All right, so this is definitely way more workstation than it is pod to sleep in, but nonetheless, I mean, you could absolutely take a quick one like this on it. Let me show you what's inside of this thing, because right off the bat, I did not expect to have a monitor in front of me. So it looks like you can put in an HDMI and watch TV or just like work and have a screen here. Otherwise, there is a desk fan here, which is kind of nice. They give you multiple power outlets. You have 3 actually. USB, turn the lights on and off, again, if you want to take it easy in here, nap a little bit. There's also AC. So there's like a freeze function in which you can make it cooler or hotter, actually. Wi-Fi, this thing is fully equipped, and then up top seems to just be maybe like another reading light or some additional things. Also a fan and purifier there. One thing to note though, there is a camera right there. So you don't want to do things in here that you would typically do in private. All right, we're gonna see what this thing is like closed. All right, so we are in the pod. It is officially closed now. It did get significantly quieter, so it's kind of interesting how you could be inside of a sleep pod or a workstation pod in a loud subway station in the most crowded city in the world, Tokyo, and then just come to complete silence for about $2 for 15 minutes. A good place to kind of grab some peace, or if you have to take a phone call, a really important one, and you don't want to do it in the midst of things, for $2, you can stay in here. The noise cancellation is pretty great, and you could even kill it more with some like white noise by putting on the desk fan and stuff, maybe turn on the AC as well. I'm trying to play around with the screen to
to see if there's anything I can do, but it doesn't really look like it. So it truly is just a monitor. So if you have stuff you want to plug in, you can do that. Something you could also do is you could technically peek underneath and see what's happening in the world out there. So it's a good place to spy on people as well, although I don't recommend doing that. Otherwise though, very comfy in here. Hook as well for some clothes. So I think it's time to take a quick power nap and test this thing out. It's not the most comfortable. I try to sleep for like a minute and I actually can't because I'm way too hunched over. It's kind of like trying to sleep on your tray table on an economy airplane seat. So do I recommend sleeping here? No. Do I recommend working in here? Honestly, yeah, but pretty good spot overall. So now let's move on to the next sleep pod and it gets even crazier. This next sleep pod we're gonna test out is here in Shibuya, Tokyo. It's called the Millennials and it's a really high-tech, futuristic sleep pod apparently. This is known to be one of the most popular capsule hotels in all of Tokyo and all of the world. So we're gonna go in and see what all this hype is about. Online, the pictures look like the beds were massive. I think I saw some like projector screens and stuff possibly, or maybe it's just like the thing that you shut it with is really big, but these look like bigger than normal pods, but they're still qualified as sleep pods. So let's go inside, hopefully have a really nice sleep pod waiting for us. Maybe this is gonna be the best one yet. The elevator's down like a really weird side lobby here in Shibuya. Okay, here we go, the Millennials. So these are them. I think one of the floors is female only as well. Oh, look at this, free beer, 5:30 to 6:30. Okay, that's interesting. So here's some of the things they have going. Please refrain from using sofa booths. All right, these are just some of their rules, which I'm sure we're gonna see. Yeah, free beer hour, they're really highlighting that twice. Jeez, might have to attend that. Bringing a person in from the outside will result in a fine of 60,000 yen and sharing a bed. That's interesting, so you can't really come here with a significant other. All right, so clearly some rules at this place. They have their happy hour, but what I am most interested in is seeing what this sleep pod looks like. So let's go check in and go up. These are probably the biggest pods that we've seen. They're so wide. They're not even like pods. It's kind of just like a mini room. Whoa. So it looks like underneath the bed is where you can do luggage storage. Slides out like so. That's actually a lot of space. And then onto the bed. This is probably the biggest bed yet. I think this bed is probably like, I don't know, I want to say it's like a full-size bed. You can get like two pretty comfortably here. You have hangers right there. You have a little light up top, and everything in this room is controlled by this iPod, branded with the hotel's name. So you could do things like control the heating and the light, and this alternates between a bed and a sofa. So right now you could see it's up like a sofa, but I can make it lie flat. How is this a pod? It's so advanced. Okay, I'm gonna bring it back up. Now, some of the downsides of this pod is that there's no AC and there's not a TV, so there's not much you can do outside of just sleep. You do have 4 electrical outlets and a USB port, so you are able to charge things if you want, but otherwise you're just gonna kind of be on your phone because there's no way to like entertain yourself otherwise. There's a lot of shelving up top, so you have ample room to kind of put your bags. Obviously underneath the bed, we saw that you could do all the luggage there. It looks like right now there's a lot of people currently sleeping, but I'd say this sleep pod in particular is probably the best if you want a good night's rest, because there's not many distractions and you have a whole lot of room. Also, interestingly, the bed has a function whereby like every 3 minutes it goes up 10 degrees, so that's the alarm clock for the bed. So rather than having like a noise, it actually like will put you upright until you wake up. So it's like a smart way to wake up, very specific to these pods. They say that there's no food allowed in these pods and you must wear clothes in shared spaces, so no nudity here. And also 1 person per pod, otherwise there's penalties for bed sharing, so you can't come here with your spouse, for instance, or your girlfriend or boyfriend. I wonder why. It is definitely big enough for 2 people. But anyways, there's a lot of people sleeping, so I don't want to talk too much, so let's get out of here. So we're unable to access these next sleep/workstation pods, but I wanted to show you it because we were just passing and we found these. So there's normal stand-up sleeping pods available for 1.5 million yen. I don't know the exact conversion, but I think that's something like $10,000. And then they have varying ones that get a little bit more sophisticated. So then you have ones in there that are just like with desks and a chair. And as you move on, they actually have a workstation pod that is literally just a room with a grand piano in it, and then an even slightly bigger one with a bigger grand piano. So pods are a thing to the point where you could even purchase them in your home for tens of thousands of dollars, and I'm sure a lot of people do that. I found this next sleep/work pod when I was in the Chicago airport, so I had to check it out. Didn't think that the Chicago airport would have a pod here, but connect inside the box, scan the QR code to access this private workspace instantly. Let's see if that's true or not. Your private office whenever you need it. I wonder how much this is. It's definitely gonna be way more expensive than all the Japan ones. 30 minutes, $30? All right, I mean, I guess. All right, so I officially reserved it now, so I have to input the access code and then I can go inside. Ooh, I wonder wonder if it's soundproof in here. Okay, so we made it inside of this workspace pod that's in the Chicago airport, just kind of in the middle of things. Like if you pan out, you'll see all the people that are currently walking by. And little do they know that business is being conducted in here as we speak. I'm recording content, I'm working in this workspace, and it only cost me $1 a minute. So by the time I just finished that sentence, $1. Just like all the dollar signs are gonna go up, because as this segment goes on, just imagine a $20 and a $10 bill just to exist in this like 3x4 space. Kind of have to speed run this because there's no value here. So it looks like these are the seats. So you're able to put them down and you could probably comfortably fit, I don't know, maybe like 8 people or so, 2 on each chair. And I know this technically isn't a sleep pod, but it definitely gives you ample room to lay down and sleep if you want to. I mean, unless you're something like 300 pounds, you probably wouldn't be able to lay. But if you're just an average sized person, then you could certainly lay here and knock out for a couple of hours if you really want. That would be the most expensive nap of your life though. And then what do we have on here? Oh, I think this pod has Wi-Fi. Okay, they give you the Wi-Fi there. Is this a camera? So I don't know if they're watching us or if I can conduct some like Zoom meeting from here. I want to try to access this camera though.
Oh, photo booth.
Oh, so there's a photo booth here. So they give the option. Wait, there's no way this turns on. Oh! A sleep pod with a photo booth? Hopefully it's a 3-second timer. Hey, okay, results will be sent. So they're actually gonna send me an email now. Why do they even have this? It's a workstation, I thought. Why they're still sending stuff? So as I'm waiting to connect to the Wi-Fi, it's been about 5 minutes, so it cost me $5 to realistically connect to the Wi-Fi. So it is not free Wi-Fi by any means. Something cool about this pod is that the sound really shuts off, because in an airport, it's a lot of like hustle and bustle, people yelling and like trying to get to their gates, sprinting. You hear like all the food stands and restaurants. You come in here, nothing. I'm pretty sure it's soundproof. I'm not gonna test it fully, but I would imagine based on like this side boarding that it's probably absorbing all the sound. Oh, look at that. They actually came in. They're not the highest quality, but nonetheless, you can have your photo taken here. So it's like a mini photo booth. So it's a photo booth, it's a workstation, it's a sleep pod, and it only costs you $30 for 30 minutes. Some other features of this pod seems to be lighting. So you could shut it off. So you actually could sleep. You could turn this all the way off or put it up if you want to have this like conference room lighting. Then there's a fan. Oh, I don't know where the ducts are, but there seems to be air coming out of somewhere. And I don't know what this is. Oh, those are those lights, okay. And I think that's basically all the controls here. They do have an HDMI port, so you are able to play movies or TV shows, YouTube videos if you'd like, if you want to plug it in and just sit here for a bit. But outside of that, I mean, it's very clean. I didn't even know it existed. I thought it was a Japan exclusive to have these pods, especially these workstations. It kind of reminds me of the one in the subway. But Jabberbox, I guess it's coming to the United States. So I don't know if anyone actually comes in here. Doesn't seem like it. There's no competition lining up at the door, but I'm glad that the US is starting to introduce some of these work and sleep pods. All right, so the time is about to expire in 3, 2, 1. Thank you for using Jabberbox. Your session has expired. All right, so apparently we are officially done here, but it doesn't look like anybody is looking to come in. So are we able to just stay here? Did they shut my Wi-Fi off? No, Wi-Fi is still intact and everything. So you probably could extend your stay a little bit further if you wanted to, but I thought there'd be like some alarms that were going off, some lights that were flickering to basically get you out of here. But it looks like nothing like that is happening. So I guess I'm gonna stay here as long as I can. I have a flight to catch in like 4 hours, so might as well milk it. I'm gonna take a nap. Honestly, very uncomfortable. In terms of sleeping, I'm gonna have to give this thing a 3 out of 10. There's much better sleep pods. Not that this is trying to be that, but you're probably best off just working here.
All right, guys, that was a lot of fun. Let me know which one of these sleep pods was your favorite. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more content, be sure to click here, click here. Otherwise, subscribe, and we'll be out, and I'll see you next time. Peace.